Next up for review we have an early Mastertronic grid style release from 1984. This one's called Sub Hunt. Here's the front cover then for Sub Hunt. Not a very spectacular logo, just looks like something's been stamped onto the front of the packaging there. And the artwork, not too bad, kind of sci-fi looking, although I'm not quite sure why it's sci-fi looking when the game's called Sub Hunt, but it's not too bad. And there's the 199 logo at the bottom there. As I mentioned, this is an early release from 1984, grid style packaging. There's the spine, and the back cover, so to speak, has got just the loading instructions. The inside is minimalist in the extreme. We've just got the Sub Hunt logo, aim of the game. Experience the awesome perils that lurk beneath the ocean waves. The water is infested with fast moving enemy fish and bombers fly overhead dropping depth charges. Only dexterous manoeuvring and careful planning will keep you alive in the terrors of the deep. There's no loading instructions there on the back cover anyway. There's no control information, it's just got the copyright at the bottom there. As I said, very early release, very basic packaging, nothing at all on the inside. Interesting that it says fast moving enemy fish. You'd think if you were piloting a submarine, fish wouldn't really be that big a problem for you. So this screen can mean only one thing. We're about to be faced with another early Darling Brothers game for Mastertronic. Familiar looking layout and text to this screen. It's an underwater nightmare, but you'll win if you can stay cool. Don't be terrorised by the gigantic fish. Remember, you're only here for one reason: to rescue your colleagues who've been chased by the massive fish. You can tell this was written by some people who were probably only about 15 years old at the time. Their only protection is flimsy scuba diving equipment. Next page, to control the submarine, use the keys, or you can use a joystick plugged into port 2 and press a key to load the game. So any regular viewers of my videos will have seen this coming. This is another Darling Brothers release made with their Games Creator program. You'll see the familiar screen there with the score, lives and high score across the top. So no more dwelling on that, let's just get on with the game. And basically I've read that this is kind of based on a game called Sequest for the Atari 2600, but I've never played that, so I can't really compare it to that. It's sideways scrolling shoot 'em up based under the sea. Basically there's 3 fish that swim towards you and kill you if they make contact with you. You also have to pick up the deep sea divers for bonus points. And occasionally a jet will go flying across the top and drop bombs at you as well. The bombs look terrible. I'm not really sure what they're supposed to be. They look like little boxes. And that's it. Basically it just repeats over and over and over again. It's got the terrible music in the background, as you'd expect, repeating over and over again as well, as you'd expect from any Darling Brothers game. Graphics are not too bad, quite colourful. The scrolling's quite nice, although really all it's doing is scrolling that little bottom of the sea thing across the bottom. The rest of it won't be scrolling at all. But it's a good illusion of scrolling and speed. And the animation on little deep sea diver is quite nice as well. Not a deep sea diver, more of a scuba diver actually. Quite why there's so many of them swimming along with these big dangerous sharks, brightly coloured ones at that, flying around. Okay, so I made it to level 2. Which is exactly the same. It's more of the same, probably gets a little bit more difficult with things moving more quickly, firing more rapidly and so on. It's pretty straightforward, pretty basic, pretty boring as well really, long term. But that said, it's definitely not the worst of the Darling Brothers early games. And to be honest, most of the games that came out, released by Mastertronic in their first wave of games in 1984, they were all this kind of thing, basically just an arcade style high score game. There was nothing very groundbreaking in that first wave of releases. It is too easy, this game, once you get to grips with the controls. It does have a kind of a risk and reward mechanism at times. If the fish are swimming around the diver, you might just have to nip into a gap and hope you don't get hit by a fish like that just happened. So yeah, it's not the most exciting game in the world, and there's not much more to say about it. It's a Darling Brothers Games Creator game, probably thrown together in a matter of hours, but they probably made some serious money out of it nonetheless. I can't really say, I don't know what to say about whether it's worth $1.99 or not. I mean, it's not worth $1.99 now, that's for sure. It's it's pretty boring and one-dimensional. But back in 1984, there wasn't that many great games to choose from, certainly not for £1.99. It's got a high score challenge, it's challenging, it's got a bit of a risk-reward mechanism as mentioned. It does get more challenging as the game progresses. There's nothing graphically wrong with it. It looks okay, it's reasonably colourful and nice. So I'm going to say, maybe I'm just getting a bit too sentimental about these games now, but I'm going to say it was worth £1.99 back then, even though it's obviously not a great game and it does go on for a long time once you get to grips with the controls and everything. But yeah, all in all, it could be worse. It has been worse. It's not Bionic Granny, it's not Jungle Story, it's not Dark Star. All those games are far worse than this. Magic Carpet was another one. Made it to level 3 now. I don't know what triggers off the rising level. I suspect this is where it's going to get incredibly difficult. Or maybe not. Maybe it'll stay exactly the same. So I'll carry on playing until I lose my last life. I'll certainly won't be playing another game of it. As I say, right now, not a great game. But if it was 1984 when I was 8 years old, I'm pretty sure I could get some enjoyment out of this for £2. And that is it. 35,100, not bad for my third ever go of the game.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
2, 1, 0.